All right, I am live. Greetings, family. Wow, I miss just interacting with you on lives and in shares. I moved. I mentioned that the last live that I did. So everything is hyper chaotic because I have a very grounded need for a sane zone right now. It's just really crazy. I have my social Serena, but then this is great because it just shows highlights what I'm always here to verify the absolutely obliterated reality of radiation. And no, I didn't announce this because I didn't know I would be talking. I've just been stop taking care of and trying to get out of everything put together. We had a household that was over 25 years making Dr. She, and then I was we lived together. I with him for 17 years, I do believe. And so that's a living to do what was our home. And now I realize I adore it. But it's chaotic house everywhere. So it's gonna be a slow get together. Oh, nice. Hey, fresh and sexy. It sounds as if it sounds distorted. Oh, thank you for telling me that. Let me go on over to my channel and then I can oh wait, that's not just do that and then I can hear it for myself because this is a whole new place and everything might be different. Let's see now. Oh, oh, it is. I don't know what I can do about that. Let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. Um, will that help? No, that didn't help. Okay. Let's see. I'm not exactly sure what to do. Dr. She is the one who is. Not exactly sure what to do. Dr. She is the one who is. Okay. I'm not sure what to do. Okay, let's see if I can. Hopefully. Okay, let's see if I can. Okay, it seems as if it's correcting itself. Okay, it seems as if it's. Do I have another cell phone to listen from? Um, Let me see. What else you say? Can you listen from another while you talk? You will hear it too. Okay, let me see. Let me turn this off because it could be feedback. And I'll listen, get my cell phone and see what that is. Okay. All right. I'm back and I'm going to check this out on my cell phone. Let's see right there. Go to YouTube. My apologies. I had no idea I haven't. Let's see now. My apologies. I had no idea I haven't. Okay. It's working. Thank you so much, Everything Fresh and Sexy. My apologies. I had no idea. Okay, it's working. Thank you so much for letting me know. I don't know if it's because I haven't done a share in so long, that the, just the calibration, whatever the heck, I don't talk computer talk, wasn't working for me. But now it is, because this is a very important story to cover. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be up here, because it's 10:08. It has cleared up now. But if you go back to oh no, I did hear what you were saying. It sounded very garbled. So thank you, Queen, because you definitely, that's what I need, because otherwise I have absolutely no clue. So I appreciate you, hon, so much. And it's so good to see you too. Oh my God, how you doing, Queen? Wow. Anyway, you wind up feeling connected to people who you may never even meet these people in real life, but correspondence is a powerful way to convey who we are in our own private lives in real time. And so I really treasure you and this wonderful, I like that about the social media platforms. You're so welcome, love. Um, there's such a they have such a potential to change everything. And that is something that the people who are trying to control society are very concerned about. And so they're doing what is in their nature. When it comes to racism, the average individual white person isn't concerned about it, as long as it's set up in a way that leaves them feeling comfortable, that leaves them feeling as if the world is going to protect them. And when it doesn't look like that, then they can easily flip to a very tyrannical, loving viciousness that is just satanic in its expression, in meaning that the only rule there is for them to stay in charge. And it's based on paranoia, and it's awful, because the original people, we're not the violent ones. We would be perfectly happy to live all of eternity just getting along with folks. However, that doesn't suit our enemy's purpose. And when I talk against racism, I mean it from a standpoint of which principality are you a part of. I mean it from a standpoint of understanding the genetic makeup that gives one a predisposition to fudge truth and falsehood. And that winds up usually being white people. It doesn't mean I hate white people for their skin color, because there are white people out there doing the right thing, wanting to do the right thing. They'll never do it in a way that will set us free, but they have a wish for truth. And so going over to this article, let me share my screen, because otherwise I'll forget that it's been a while since I've done a live or anything, as a matter of fact. And let's see now, how do I do that again? So I might forget different things that I do. Yes, share screen. And I want the entire screen. Thank you. Okay. And there it is. Alrighty. Let me go on over to the article I found at Daily Mail. Daily Mail is, in my firm conclusion, a Freemason controlled uh, publication, or, just news site. And I do believe that, in my conclusion, simply based on the pattern of their news articles, they are controlled by both Israel and China. I think more so by Israel, but I do believe they get quite a bit of money from China. But it doesn't really matter, because all nations uh, are controlled by the satanic elite up top. And thereby, oops, I didn't know. Oh, I did that by accident. Okay, here we go. Nope, I don't want to invite a guest. I just want to share my screen again, because I unfortunately clicked on something the wrong way, right? Entire screen. There we go. Wow. There we go. Okay. And so Daily Mail is an interesting uh, rag because it very much showcases their plans, and thereby it's without them meaning it to be very helpful to my ability to put the behavioral patterns together, but it still is. Because they pretty much, in cryptic ways and using different signs, will announce what their plans are for the immediate future. I know these are plans that they put into the works decades and decades and decades ago with I would even go back as far as Queen Elizabeth I, who wanted to carve up the planet as soon as, all the way back in Elizabethan England, they discovered that it was a world filled with black and brown people. And they like stuff, they like all the resources that the different nations have. And so they strategize how to take advantage of different people's what they would like to they it's not weaknesses to be human, but they'll come in and examine all of your different habits and try to turn what is just simply human behavior into a weakness, so then they can exploit your people, your resources, everything. And that comes with long-term consequences because Allah is real. Again, use the name of the Creator that you have been divinely guided to embrace, as long as He's the one and only and He guides you to righteousness. That's Him. That's the one. That's the only. And it's a Him. It's not a she. Okay. Um, and so they will come up with different methods to control populations. They've been doing social engineering forever. That's what, since Constantine, and rewriting the Bible by King James, and all the different methods that they utilize to keep people from rejecting the evil doing of their pathology. Even white people, I realize white people want to know the truth too. It may scare them, it may hurt their feelings because they are very flattered by the notion that they're superior, but nothing of the sort is the case when what you do has gotten to the point that it's destroying the only planet we have. We only have one. The Most High says He'll make a new heaven and a new earth. That is a mighty thing. Only He can do that. But at the same time, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if we could say, look, one and only Allah, we took really good care of this gift you gave us. There was a thought-born cancer destroying it, but we, as the righteous stewards of this magnificent earth, just extricated it, nullified it. You can cure cancer in a human body, in any organism. You can cure cancer. So I do 100% know that when it comes to the radiation, you can also cure it in our beautiful planet. And so I don't hate white people for being white. It is the overall outcome of what they do that must be cured somehow, that must be stopped. If the only solution is the Most High coming in and saying, look, we're just starting from square one because this has gone too far, and all the good people are addicted to the baubles that white people have set up a system of avarice so that you equate morality with having things, with having stuff, without having any real reason for having the stuff other than just to show it off. I entreat anybody watching, go to our website, 25,000yearcycle.org, where we have products, because we don't come here just to say, oh, help us with donations. We have products that in and of themselves are among the best that you are going to find anywhere, because Dr. She and I are both scientists. And when we put products together, we don't do it just haphazardly. We don't do it so it looks appealing. We do it so it works. And so you go to 25,000 year cycle and you can assist us in our goals, because my goal is to test our food for radiation because it's in there. It's inevitably in there. I collect the obituaries and I see all the people going out with cancer, one after another, or heart attacks or strokes. These are things that radiation causes. It causes almost every single affliction you can think of because it destroys your autoimmune function. So it's going to make your body weaker. So that's my goal. I'm not here to just get money, to get bank. I'm here to be of assistance to you because your health is my health. Your strength is my strength. So definitely you help me because I'm still writing my book. I haven't been able to write it since we moved here because I got to get everything set up, my desk over there. So because right now it's crazy in our house right now, but it's a beautiful home. Um, but yes, they've taught us to just want things, but for no purpose. Because here I am, a sister, coming and literally through my deep, deep research, proving that these dudes lie about the scope of radiation, its long-term impact. It is the silence of every other issue. And all you have to do is just share the information. You don't have to support me or Dr. Shi or anything. That is free. That is free. The knowledge that I've learned by reading, so that when I run across an article like this, I know I'm looking at a bunch of lies and I'm going to explain the lies. But I'm just saying all the madness that may be making you feel a little bit disquieted with Trump friggin' doing war criminal horrors to people who haven't been proven guilty in a court of law anywhere. There's a Coast Guard out there. It's not as if the waters are unpoliced, but for Pete Hegseth to get out and say, kill everybody. Wow, wow, really? That's not civilization. That's barbarianism. But that's what they needed. They needed Trump. They need these Nazi folks because when they get in charge, all Marcus of Queensberry rules are thrown out the window. It's going to be posse comitatus everywhere. Kill everybody because they're already practicing that by not telling the truth about the radiation and that it's particles. It's not just waves. You don't have to go to your dentist and get an x-ray in order to be exposed to radiation. You just eat the food. It's not the jab, it's not the vaccine that's doing all this carnage to people. That was a script they developed in order to hide the impact of the radiological contamination. So they could blame it on a vaccine that how many people took how long ago now? Right? That is, you can't use a Geiger counter to discover the existence of anything that was in that coronavirus vaccine that wasn't a vaccine, mRNA dose. You can't do that. But when it comes to even one atom of radiation, if you got a Geiger counter pointed in exactly the right place, it's going to catch the wave of that beta or alpha or gamma emission. You can't go up and find nanoplastics anywhere unless you are visually looking for them. You can't go up to a garbage can and hold a Geiger counter to it, and it's going to tell you where the nanoparticles are. No, these are lies that they've developed. And I know this from the science, not from my opinion. Okay? And so when I saw this article here in Daily Mail, as I said, in my firm conclusion, based on just seeing the habits, because they'll never admit this, right? Nobody who's attacking you is going to come up to you before they attack you and say, oh, by the way, I mean you no good in about a half an hour, right? You got to look at the patterns and then you know, right? Don't walk down an alleyway at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you have proof anybody's going to attack you? No, you just know from a lifetime of seeing terrible stories that that would be a real bad idea. Same thing with these guys. You got to look at their patterns, right? So mysterious, 400 miles, 400 miles, that's a lot of miles. Stretch of radiation fog blankets 13 million Americans. Now, as soon as I saw this, I said, oh no, this is in California. As soon as I came over the article, where's it? It's in California, Central Valley, and it's been lingering for days, leading to even travel warnings and air quality alerts for 13 million people. They said that, oh, no flying in over Venezuela. I wonder if the planes are going to be told you should avoid that. Okay, and so a massive cloud of radiation fog, have you ever heard the like? Has been blanketing California's Central Valley for days, leading to travel warnings and air quality alerts for 13 million people. More than 20 counties across a 400-mile stretch of the state has been. Why just California? Why just California? Why just in the United States? Have you heard of radiation fog, which you're also calling tool fog or tool fog? I guess it's tool fog. Why haven't you heard of something like this anywhere else? And when they reference the low-level radiation blanket, when they reference other precedents of this, the only thing they go back to is so wild, is the Pruitt-Igoe, right here. Read more. Mysterious cancer causes. That's a favorite word, mysterious. They are, if you've got scientists who you will give more deference to than you would give to me, your sister, and the only thing they can come up with is the word mysterious, baffled, confused for all of these, the die-offs of massive quantities of creatures. And they only do, that's why they need Trump, because he's so clownish. He's so over the top, psychopathic, that you're going to look at him and not look at what should be our earth. We should be able to say to the Most High, we are responsible. We do the research. We are not cows. We're going to find out about that radiation, right? We're going to share it with our friends and family so we can support that sister who, she don't want to be rich. She just wants to be able to get the equipment to test our food. There's housewives in Japan doing that very same thing. Why can't we? Why can't we? Right? So, mysterious cancer-causing fog sprayed over U.S. neighborhoods linked to secret army project. This is Pruitt-Igoe. In my second novel, This Black Nation, which is a sequel to This Black, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing a special where you get the ebook off a 25,000 year cycle for $5. And then I will ship you, for as long as I have copies, because I have extra copies right now, I will ship you the sequel to This Black for $10. That's basically just to cover the shipping costs, because I got to package it. I got to take it over to the post office. And so the $5 for the ebook, that I have to talk to Dr. Shi, because he's the whiz, the computer whiz. And you can go there, get that for $5, and then get the book for $10. Right? That's like, it's been, I don't know what, $30 forever. And so that's a reduction. because in moving and packing things up, I found a whole box filled with them. And I'm like, okay, I need to pass these on to you. But in that second book, I did a whole segment where I just, made a story about a young man who grew up or spent a good deal of his childhood in Pruitt-Igoe. And it's a very I just did so much research that when I was writing it, it was just real. It was just real because I studied not just the details of the radiation, but the people and the families that lived there, where they came from, where they migrated from in the South, and their lives and the history of how beautiful Pruitt-Igoe was when it first opened and how it was touted as a rescue for the lower middle class that before that had been living in really pretty much shanty towns in that section of Illinois, and to believe. Um, so it's a very beautiful segment. I don't want to go over it, but in the government doing what it did, the army would go up to the rooftops and they would spray a combination that was filled with radiation, and they would just spray it on the populace down below because they were doing something they call penetration studies. They wanted to see how deeply embedded the radioactive particles would get into lower class confines that were densely populated and didn't have single housing units. Like when I am like bashing rich people, I'm like, you guys are idiots. You think you're in this big old fancy mansion on a hill, and you're actually more exposed to the radiation than the poor people who live in tenement buildings. So that's one of the things that I assess they discovered. But there they were, just spraying. They didn't keep track of any of those people that they probably caused, not even probably, definitively would have caused cancers to, because even one atom of radiation can lead to a cancer, right? But this is the only reference that they have for this radiation fog that they try in the article to make it seem as if, oh, but it's no danger. That's the thing they say. And this dude was walking through his neighborhood and he was, I can't play it, right? But he was saying that it was just really weird. And it had a distinctive, strange taste to it. He could taste it. When you're being heavily radiologically contaminated, that's when you taste it. Other than that, when it's just a small amount, I'm not saying that amount ain't deadly, okay? Because your body will absorb it as if it's nutrition, right? And it will then embed itself inside your flesh, in your organs. That's why one atom's enough, because it will then send out all kinds of decaying particles that are going so fast. They're going faster than a bullet out of a gun, only at a subatomic level. And that is enough because these things will keep Gatling gunning for upwards of hundreds of billions of years. And it will destroy all the organic matter within a 20 cell deep radius, right? So if you could taste them suckers, you could just pretty much figure that you're a done deal. That's why they're just like, oh, it's, we got to just say it's toxic stuff and kind of tone it down because what? Folks aren't going to notice. Why is it just in California? There's so many things that happen that are just, the reason why I target California is because that's what came over from Fukushima. That's what came over from Fukushima. Go to, let me go on over to here because Dana's always doing something right here. And he changed his channel name to environmentalist Dana Durnford. He went up in a boat. He was a captain of a fleet of fishing vessels. So he knows the sea. He knows life forms in the ocean on site. And he went up to British Columbia off the coast of Canada. And he took pictures and he filmed the whole thing. It wasn't AI. It's dead. It's Mars. It's gone. You could go right on over there and find the truth and share it for free. For free. You don't have to panic. You just share it for free. Because what they did is astronomical. Astronomical how they have affected. Let's see, I'm trying to get it to go. There we go. Okay. How they have destroyed our planet, because it's not just staying in California. Any nuclear power plant is a time-release nuclear bomb already exploding. That's what makes nuclear bombs so devastating. It's not the mechanism, it's the radiation, because it's subatomic infernos that make you sort of yearn for just a regular inferno that you could just, get the fire department to come in and put it out. But when it's in your body, you need my book, Furnace of Affliction. Without a doubt. You get that at 25,000yearcycle.org, where I painstakingly detail all the methods. You can't just be eating healthy. And if you're eating a standard American diet and congratulating yourself on being so healthy, you're in trouble. Because nothing I'm talking about is a joke. It's lighthearted. We see the death roll out already. Okay? So this came over from Japan and it's staying because it doesn't go away, and there's so much of it that is changing our entire planet. It's in our Earth itself. That's what's causing all the earthquakes and the volcanic eruptions and there's just whole sections of the earth that go cracking and sliding and doing all kinds of things. That's because you cannot have this stuff on a planet that sustains life. It's the stuff of Allah's creation, but a destructive aspect that only He knows the mechanisms thereby to wield it in the way that creates stars. They say that radiation, transuranic isotopes, are the stuff of supernovas. Those are the only places where you'll find it naturally occurring because it's that volatile. And so this is what came over from Fukushima. I talked about the radioactive mud on my channel. I'm like, you just go on over there. Let me see, where's my, I'll go over here. And, oh dear, oh my, it's good to see you, family. I miss you so much. Beloved Brother Harvey Middleton, you're so welcome, beloved. And Queen Shabbatsi, so I love my beloved. And dear, Sister Granby, you always are in my heart and in my thoughts, without a doubt. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you loved that book. I could tell you did a lot. Yes, I did. I have. And I never stopped. I read that book, that dear brother A, I do believe his first name starts with an A, sent to me, that cost $113. And I mean, I realized that Allah had to put this in me because I want to read the book a second time because first off, it's so short, but it gave me such an understanding of what's going on right now with the censorship, with Trump doing what he's doing, with him coming up in front of the freaking all the military generals saying, you could say there's two N-words and you can't say either. One of them I really can't say, the other one's nuclear. He says both of them all the time behind closed doors. right? But why can't they talk about nuclear? Because in that book it exposed they didn't want the US to look like Hitler by bombing Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Those bombings were so horrific, and they hid all the data. In that book, the, Erica Braw is the author, and I thank her for what she did. I don't know if she's still alive, but she doesn't cover the scientific details of radiation itself and of the bombs, but she very exactingly covers all the silencing of the Japanese people. It's blood curdling, fascinating in just understanding the pathology of barbarians with nice clothes and fancy, equipment and microscopes and all the rest of it. They're incredible. They are out of their damn minds. We cannot wait for them to wake up and figure it all out because that ain't happening. They're that twisted. They think of what they've done as a way to manage peace through war, like Trump changing it from, Department of Defense to Department of War. That they flipped all the way, and you're not going to be able to stop them because there's certain, small hat people who are threatening that if Trump isn't successful in inciting a civil war in the United States, where black us are the ultimate target. I have to do a share because I'm going to go talk about the Mamdani effect. You got in South Africa, the, oh my goodness, I've been saying Mamdani so much, I've forgotten the black man's name who they were calling his, he was in South Africa, he became president, and it begins with an M, but I can't remember his name now because all I say is Mamdani. Yeah, we will never understand the pathology of barbarians, Gwen. We will never understand. Those guys do the work of the devil. They want the end of the planet and all creation. Yes, they do. They talk about the nothingness, and I know they mean antimatter. They know that's what they mean. It's hard to explain because it sounds like magic, and it's not magic, it's just science. But with the Mamdani effect, they want to rope us in to looking like we support China and the communists. Every time I see that dude, he is in a photo with black people, either pressing the wokery with the flag, the pride flag, or I'm like, grinning ear to ear with all these black people. And then there he is grinning ear to ear with Trump. And Trump's like, oh, I think I like him. That's because they want these people. There's a lot of black people out there who sold out because they've fallen for the notion of materialism. And this is, like the circle that they hang out with their frat people, their Soros sisters, who then they compare fancy houses and the things that they got. So they just think of it as a career move. It's just a career move to them. They don't know that they're damning their souls. They don't know that. They maybe suspect it because there was a channel that showcased the Soros sisters and the pledges they have to take and the things they have to actually sign and pledge that they put that organization even above the one and only. So I think they sort of suspect what they're doing, right? And so with Mamdani and the Chinese and Trump, they're all working together to get us in the crosshairs. That's what the whole thing. The penny is dead. Do you really have to be so dramatic about simply discontinuing the circulation of a particular denomination of money? You got to announce it in all the headlines. The penny is dead. No, they mean they want us dead. They mean they want us walking around with no friggin' clothes on like it's high fashion. I was in Manhattan I had to go in and do some business. And they have, I feel like somebody who gets out of prison, even though I'm not in prison. I love my home. If I didn't have to do business, I wouldn't go to Manhattan. So they got these new fancy kiosk advertisements that are more mobile, more dynamic. And one of them was highlighting Dior fashion. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, Earth Angel. I'm glad you caught the live too. That's wonderful. And so they have this Dior ad that came out, and the model was wearing one of them skirts that, why are you wearing a damn skirt? Everybody could just see your underwear. And it was just, it's diaphanous. There's nothing there. And it's Dior. So this ain't no black women doing this. This is them. And I went to Amazon, and I just happened to click on Bergdorf Goodman. And there they had it in the lineup of clothes for women, high fashions. These completely see-through outfits. Like I said, they need massive distractions. And I said it years and years back. They're going to push it to the orgy part. They keep hinting at it. Right? But these same starlets who were like, oh, hashtag me too, I felt so vulnerable. He looked at me funny. Why wouldn't you be walking out with a burqa on then? Rather than these friggin', there ain't nothing there. And they had to tone it down because an overwhelming majority of people, even white people, ain't falling for that. But that's what the radiation's for in our food. Because they know you going out anywhere. So when I'm looking at China, and I guess I could just kind of go back to the full screen. I don't need to have this up here. I'm like, how is it like not a coincidence that China is falling utterly to pieces? Oh my God. And the US has got Trump. Right? You got Xi Jinping over in China looking ridiculous. And they keep hinting that, oh, he's not really in charge anymore. No, the satanic elites are in charge. They don't give a damn. The Trump, Xi, those are employees. And they blow smoke up the satanic elites' butts by saying stuff just like people lie on their resumes. Oh, yes, I was a, in charge power broker of the, I don't know, the lunchroom or something or whatever. People do that. No, they need their money. Trump don't want to die. They keep hinting all the time what they're going to do to him if he doesn't do what he promised he would do. Because these dudes are bloviators. They're going to lie and exaggerate everything. And the elites, they're letting them know. I don't know if you notice all the little just starlets and so on being pushed off of buildings. There are terrible things happening to them. I don't wish any of that for them. Right? But Satan, he's not nice. He's not nice. He doesn't exist. He's the nothingness. And that means everything, everything. He tear apart everything. That's what Hex said. Kill everybody. Doesn't matter what age you are. Doesn't matter what race you are, even then. Right? Because I know they have ways of putting out information in the movies. We all know that. And once you understand the script and the mindset along with the science, then you see and you're like, oh, okay, that's what you're about. Just like you said, Sister Gwen, everything. They are about the destruction of everything, right? Even this planet. What they want ultimately, if they could and they can't, is to get Allah back into the nothingness and just have everything be a giant energy bomb with no creation, no ability to ponder just magnificence. There's no hope in the nothingness. All right, let's see what you're saying, Sister Earth Angel. Without morals, integrity, man, woman will be reduced to animalistic behavior. This is what they want. Yep, that's right. That's right. Just a series of impulses with no idea of the rules that govern civilization. Civilization is an exterior skin for each and every single citizen that is a part of that civilization. It's there to give you a structure, to give you a path that you can look outside your own home and trust and follow. And they don't want that. They just want you following them, and what they are is nothingness, where there is no existence whatsoever. Right? And so, this graph behind me, for anybody who might be hearing any of this, um, is shows waves of energy that are dispensed by different contraptions, and then at the end point here, trying to get my thumb to show right there, is when it's coming off of radiation. And so here, that's my chair back there, you can't see anything, but on my it twists around once it gets showcased. But this is just what we're used to, where you have the TVs, you have electricity. That's nothing. And just, I'm not saying it's not hazardous, but with electricity, they use that to, with the electrical chair, they use that to execute people, to take their lives with just that low level of hertz, 50 hertz. But when they start going all the way up over here, you got picohertz, and over here is exahertz, all the way when you start getting into gamma rays. That's what's in one atom. And this is what that level of energy that is being put out all day long by that one atom, because it's the echo of the power of that little tiny subatomic particle off of the bigger atom that has enough of them that some of these atomic particles can last upwards of 450 billion years. I'm not doing half-life, I'm doing full life. Okay, in case you checked it out, they have this thing, they call it the half-life. That's a bunch of malarkey. That just means how long it takes for half of the substance to decay into something else that could still be radioactive with another all completely unique half-life. Okay? So I'm going full life, 450 billion years for uranium 238. That's the depleted uranium stuff. Once again, look up the Fallujah babies if you want to see what the damage is from that, unless they've scrubbed the internet, because they've been happy scrubbing bubbles. Okay? And so that's that stuff over there going on in your body every single second of the day, every day of your life. That's going to cause some damage. If this stuff on the other side can kill somebody with one electrical jolt, that stuff over there, and it's inside your flesh. Tumor city, definitely, along with whatever, because it first attacks the thyroid gland. Okay, so yeah, this is wow. Let me go back to the article and highlight it one more time and go over, because I've gone over the radioactive mud, where people had, that's our son coming home. They had, sorry, that's to let me know that there's a lot of, that someone's opening the door. Hey son, how you doing? um, they had the mud race, where people were running through it, and almost everybody at the race got sick. Okay, because this stuff, it doesn't just evaporate and go away. It comes down in the rain. And what might be causing the fog, it could have a high concentration of tritium, which is radioactive water. And they lie about the tritium, where they say that, oh, it's a low beta emitter. But if it's in your body, it doesn't matter if it's just a beta emitter. There's different wavelengths. There's alpha, gamma, beta. Those are the three ones that they concentrate on, though there are others too. X-rays, for example. And with alpha, a piece of paper can stop an alpha wave from reaching you. With beta, you need, like, a piece of wood or something a little bit thicker. With gamma, you need 20-foot thick lead, and I've read different books that say you actually even need something thicker than that to keep the gamma wave from reaching you. The thing about gamma waves is they don't travel as far, but if it's in your friggin' body, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's ridiculous that these are things. So many people know computers like nobody's business. I can't figure out computers, but I sure can figure out this radiation. And I can tell you, the radiation's easier to understand, all right? And so if this stuff is in your flesh, forget it. So the tritium, I would hazard a guess, since it's fog and it's staying, it's changed the temperature of everything so that it's lingering. Heat would be causing a fog effect, heat and cold interacting. And if it's lingering, that's not ordinary just moisture coming from pure H2O, right? And if it has a chemical taste to it, usually people will say when they are, like right after Fukushima, there was an awful lot of people in the US, starting with the West Coast and up into the Rockies, who said that they had a strange metallic taste in their mouths. I would say that this is not as heavy an inundation as that initial explosion caused, but it's enough that it's giving them a chemically taste in their mouths. This is, I mean, I could scream. I could scream. How dare you? And that is one thing I want to credit white people for. They don't want to die either. They don't want this. They miss their loved ones when they die of cancer or whatever afflictions that radiation causes. They miss them, right? So I don't wish anybody harm. I just know they're using us as a prisoner of war nation to distract everyone, to keep common white people so angry that even hearing a little bit of truth from us, they can't handle it. They're just like, oh my God, we can't be doing this. We can't be this horrible. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. But you have the power to fix yourselves. The Most High created himself from nothing. Nothing. How many phases of thought did he have to go through before he recognized truth was his greatest tool of creation, right? Imagine then, you guys, you have flesh, you have his grace all the time you're in existence to do the best for your family and your friends. Do that. That's why I can't watch your movies anymore, any of your stuff with you in it, where you're pretending to be heroes. Stop. If you can't hear what I'm saying, you ain't nothing but a coward. Okay? And so Yeah, I think it could be a large amount of tritium in this fog here, and that's going to have a terrible effect. I've collected many articles showcasing that tritium is really viciously deadly because the was a gentleman walking through this. It's going to go through his skin. It's going to get inside his flesh, right? Because there ain't nothing but was it HO3, I think. And yeah, and they're not telling anyone the truth about what's going on. They're not telling anyone about the Wigner effect and the airplanes. And they're just making, hopefully, people will just think it's normal to have giant helicopters and all the rest of it falling out of the sky, 2 or 3 of them a day. Right? Notice during the holidays, all the airports came up with excuses to shut down their traffic because they were scared to death that a giant commercial plane would go pummeling down to the earth. And folks might start asking too many questions. I watched a documentary about thalidomide. I can't believe, do you know thalidomide is still for sale? It's still for sale. And it took a decade or more before enough people started asking questions. The babies that were coming out with flippers for arms, they grew up to teenagehood. Some of them now, they're just full grown adults with their own children. If they were lucky to find someone who would not be horrified. Some of them, very fine people. Okay? And that's wild. That's wild that it took so long and it's still for sale. And the only thing that happened was they won a court case. And so they got a small compensation for the harm caused. But the company that's still making thalidomide never admitted what it does. Never said, even though they knew there was proof that they knew what it did, they never admitted it. Okay? So don't expect these people to admit anything. They never will. But do the research. I won't put the book list that I have because my book list is vastly expanded. But you can go to my other videos. I entreat you to watch the other videos. They'll give you more than enough information, okay? So that's all that I wanted to say in closing. Oh, I didn't even have my screen on. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Well, let's see what you're saying, Earth Angel. Is iodine drops help? Yes, but you have to get nascent iodine. I'm not giving it as a recommendation because maybe there's a company that's better, and I certainly don't get sponsored by this company. But Global Health, Global Health. Let me make sure I can go on over, and since I'm not sharing anyway, to my Amazon and find the exact name of my iodine company, because this is a company that I actually called Global Healing Center. That's the name of it. Nascent liquid iodine supplement drops for thyroid support, detox, cleanse, and metabolism, non-GMO, vegan, 200 servings iodine drops. I called the company to see where they sourced it from because you don't want an iodine coming from the oceans. Radiation is highly magnetically drawn to water. And so an iodine that's coming from a compromised source, you're just going to be getting probably radioactive iodine. They get theirs from an underground system. And so that's going to be more pristine and not contaminated. So the company, again, is Global Healing Center. I get it right off of Amazon. And so let's see. And you need my book. It's that simple. I don't know, sister, if you bought the book. I am terribly polite. I don't like braggarts. I don't. They're just annoying and awful and liars. But I don't want to lie myself. There's no other book on this earth that pinpoints getting radiation out of your body that is as up to date as we need it to be right now. Where I tell you, leave the sea moss alone, leave the seafood alone. And then I put in a list of what you can use because the iodine drops are really very vital, but they're not going to be adequate to chelate the radiation out of your body. And I got exhausted explaining the amount of detail that goes into protecting ourselves. So that I was like, I just got to write it. I just got to put it in a book and it's there. You put it on your shelf, it's a reference. Dear beloved sister Jai Africa, she has a friend that she called that it was a friend who has cancer. And she asked me, like what she should tell her friend. And I gave her the page to go to tackle the specific manifestation of her ailment that she was experiencing right then. All right. Jai Africa, thankfully, that sister had it right on her bookshelf so that she could look it up herself and then also find all the other methods because those things are real. I conclude that that is the reason why they don't want people looking into nuclear and radiation because they don't want us to find out there are things to do to protect ourselves. There are things to do to clean the planet to a certain extent, right? I also believe Dana Durnford when he says you can't get it out because they did. They tested in it was in Utah, I do believe. Um, Lauren Murray witnessed, or she didn't witness, she was just giving the information about how they did a nuclear test and they purposefully had people contaminated, especially their cars and all the rest of it, so they could see if they could scrub out the radiation. They invited them all to go to a car wash and get their cars for free cleaned, and they found out they couldn't wash it out. Okay, because it embeds into even inanimate objects and just stays stuck there. That's why you got a radioactive fog that they don't want to say, oh no, it's not like it's a radiation from any man-made source. That's all that it is these days. What they do, the reason why they could get away with that story, if you go and read the article, you'll see that they say, oh no, it's not from man-made. What they do is after 1 to 2 years of emissions from, and every single nuclear facility vents radiation, otherwise they would explode. Okay? Once it's been in the atmosphere, in the environment for 1 year, they call it background levels. And so they say, oh no, that's natural. It's background levels. No, it's not. It came from the nuclear power plant up the block. Okay, so that's why they say, oh no, this isn't from any, man-made sources. It's just what is. If it is what is, how come it's only there and it's never been in existence or described any place on the planet? Why is your only story reference friggin' Pruitt-Igoe, where there wasn't a radiation fog going on here? They were deliberately spraying and testing for penetration studies. Okay? So there's so much that, I keep going over it and I'm looking at stuff and I forget I'm not sharing the screen. Oh, that's good. And those are novels. And that's a wonderful thing because they're there to create a culture because that's what they use as a means of genocide with radiation, is because if we act like cows, they'll treat us like cows. If we don't share, if we do no research, if we're not producers, And so I wanted to write something that would appeal to the mindset that they have indoctrinated in us, which is entertainment, nonstop love of entertainment. I love entertainment too. I'm sick of theirs, right? And so I said, you know what? The first books I write, I got to write a story that will bait people into being curious about man made radiation. But then I kept giving all the remedies. After a while, I was like, okay, I got to just write that down now because I thought I'd never write that book. I thought I'd never write, another novel, which I'm doing now, right? Um, and so the furnace of affliction will save your life, in my firm conclusion. When I say my firm conclusion, that's because I don't want anybody suing me, okay? But if I can say all that I wanted to say, it'll save your life, period. Okay? But it's in my firm conclusion. Okay? All right. You need that book. So you could get it at 25,000yearcycle.org. You could get it in the ebook, which is 25, or you can get it in the hard copy, and I'll ship that right on out to you. And that's 35. That way you just have it on your shelf. I don't particularly trust ebooks, but that's me. Some people they do, and I don't know, maybe you could copy the ebook. I don't want to recommend that because I really want to put any support I get from providing real products to you into being able to test our food, because that is another portion of healing, of the strengthening of our ability to survive what these barbaric devils have done to our planet. Okay? So I'm being honest because that's what is required right now. These people, they've gone too far, right? And I need to say this vehemently because they're stacking the deck so that it looks like we're the violent ones. We're not. I don't wish anybody any harm. When I went into the city, I should actually do a little storyline right now. I used to be a jewelry designer, and because I've been looking at all my stuff that I've made, and I'm like, I'm a damn good jewelry designer. Um, and so I had all this silver, like massive quantities of silver, and silver. The price of silver is like through the roof right now. I used to buy it for $20 an ounce. Right now it's like $50 an ounce. And I've got pounds of the stuff. Um, and so I'm like, I need money. I need money because I need to get little furniture things and this is a much smaller place than our old place, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful apartment. And so I had to get stuff. And so I took all my old silver to this wonderful business that I'm not going to mention the name of, but I was working with them for decades. They're like my family almost. There's not a single Black person working there. Not a single Black person. I noticed that from way back then, but I don't say anything because it's just about the business. And it's in the Diamond District. So these people, they're all wonderful, wonderful people. And the owner of the establishment, he's a gem of a person. He really is. That's why I say I don't hate white people for their skin color. Okay? I don't. That would make no sense. But because of my awakening, I found this latest development kind of interesting. He didn't ask me out on a date per se, but I realized that's kind of the way that it would wind up being. And it was disturbing because I like the person. He's like I said, they're all like family to me. But I'm like, yo, dude, that ain't ever happening. And so I'm looking and I'm thinking, this family, it's a family business. These dudes are rich. They're like crazy rich, right? But I've moved on. It's a different world right now. And we all have to separate out. But I realize that they've set the deck up so that white men really feel like all black women secretly want to be with them. And I don't. I don't. I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it. But I'm just saying, in terms of the complexity of what they've built on this earth by abducting people, taking over whole societies, and stealing resources and all the rest of it, it winds up where good people, honestly, good people, are just tired. I'm like, you know, I'm so, I'm just a nice person. I'm not mean. There's not a mean bone in me. I wouldn't ever want to harm anybody. Anybody. But I know what time this is. I fully recognize I'm no longer allergic to white people. I used to say I think I'm allergic to them. That was because I felt like I would be compromised by the fact that I want to be nice. I'm always polite to everybody I meet. Right? That doesn't take any effort on my part. But I know we're different people. We're separate races that are meant to stay separate. And we black people, the world needs us because we're the only ones who are going to put it all together. Not just little parts that don't hurt their feelings too much. Don't hurt their feelings too much. No, we just tell them what needs to be said. You can't have a court of law and then the judge and the jury doesn't want to hurt the guilty person's feelings by calling them guilty. Okay? Doesn't mean that you're going to execute them on the spot. No. I'm just saying, we got to tell some truth, especially about this stuff, okay? All right. I think I said all I need to say. Oh my God, I miss all of you so much. I can't wait until I can get everything set up. And I could also just do a share. How long have I been talking? I must have been talking for a long time. Oh, okay, that's good. 1 hour, 12 minutes. That's good. Thank you so much, Queen Shabbat. I appreciate that. That's all we need to say. It's just the facts. That will incinerate their whole game because that's they plan on the worst. All right? All right. Mwah, oh, this is Sister Al Sheba Sekhmet. Oh, I think I know. I think I remember you. Forgive me if because I've been, how long have we all been up on here? I think I do know you. And I might, if you're the person I think you are, I ran into you once at the African Street Festival. It was huge. You had plenty on your mind. I think you were going to speak or something like that. And that was what it was. Okay, let me get off of here because, yes, this is going to be blessings to you too. Thank you for being here. Thank you, all of you, and welcome to anybody who catches this at whichever time you're watching. Love you. Straight Black Pride is our roadmap to forever. Peace and blessings.